Hey everybody, welcome back to the Hip Horse. Tommy D, Johnny Lowe, you made it back to Derby Talk. We're on episode number 8. Thanks for following us if you've been along the ride here. Johnny and myself have been on the Kentucky Derby Trail 2021. It's going to be a good one, Johnny. 3 big races last week. We'll recap. The main one we're going to be talking about this week is the Rebel, Johnny. But first of all, how you doing, my man?
Doing well. Just following along, watching how everything's been playing out. This weekend, the Rebel Stakes, it's going to be a mile and 16th. That's going to be the last mile and 16th race. It's also going to be the last 50-point winner race. From here on out, they're going to get longer, mile and an eighth. I think in Dubai, I think their race is a mile and a quarter. So we're going to start seeing horses stretch out a little bit more and see if that changes some of these results we've been seeing recently.
Yeah, good stuff, Johnny. As you said, 100 points, and that's the Louisiana Derby is going to be the first one next weekend. But first of all, we got to do a little recap of last week, Johnny. We had 3 big races that we took a look at, and wow, did we have some unexpected winners, I guess you could say, in a few of the races.
Yeah.
And then, you know, hey, life is good, right? I guess that would be the other thing we could say. So talk to me what you saw in the Tampa Bay Derby. Mark Casse, winner with Helium there. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so the Tampa Bay Derby, obviously the one we were kind of hoping for was going to be Candyman Rocket. We were looking at him in the Derby futures pools around 30 to 1 or so, and hoping maybe he would show enough in that race to maybe make some kind of a case for him in the starting gate in the Kentucky Derby. Obviously something went awry. I think he finished second to last. That didn't work out. The winner, Helium, did run a nice race. Is he going to want a mile and a quarter in the Derby? I don't know about that. Is he going to want to step up in class? I don't know about that either. But he did win a really nice race, and Mark Casse and his connections are going to basically train him up to the Derby. Yeah. So he's pretty much in the gate, and I guess we know one contender. Another race after the Tampa Bay Derby was the Gotham. That was a total shocker. I mean, how many people had that horse? He paid, what, $96?
Woo! Talk about it. If you had it, great job, man. Wow.
Yeah, the border crosser, Wayburn from Canada.
Hey,
the Canadian bred right there. Yeah, shout out to the people out in Canada doing a pretty good job breeding these horses. James Jerkin's horse won the Gotham. He beat our horse that we had for second by a small margin, but it was definitely enough for him to go get the points. Freedom Fighter didn't really finish very strong. He's the horse that lost to Concert Tour, who's going to be running in the Rebel. We'll be talking about that shortly. And then Highly Motivated. He was the horse for Chad Brown's barn that had everybody talking. He finished third. He ran okay in that race. Looking at that going forward, I think Wayburn has a sneaky little pedigree there too. I got a little bit more into it by Pioneer the Nile out of an APND line broodmare. Definitely has the makings of a horse that might want to stretch out to 2 turns, so might keep an eye on that one. What if he develops? I don't think we've had too much come out of the Gotham and be much of a factor in the starting gate of the Kentucky Derby, but you never know. This one might pop. Who knows, you know? So definitely going to have to see what he does, what his next prep is. Probably Wood Memorial, I'm guessing, but that was definitely an interesting race and an outcome I don't think we expected, but we got it.
Bombs away, Johnny, and hey, if you had it, congratulations. And please let us know who you like in the videos, in the comments. Hit that like, subscribe, ring the bell. You're watching Derby Talk with Tommy D and Johnny Lowe. The last recap race we got to talk about is the San Felipe. And you know what? That superstar that everyone's talking about, Johnny, life is good for Bob Baffert, showed up and made it look easy. So tell me what you saw there in the San Felipe.
Yeah, it just looked like he went out there nice and relaxed. I think people are a little afraid to press him because, you know, if your horse is a speed horse and you've got him entered against Life is Good, do you want to try to press the pace and see if you can wear him out so your horse can finish, or are you going to stay off his flank a little bit and see if you can pass him? I don't know. It's a really tough riddle to solve at this point. And although he drifted out like 8 or 9 lanes down the stretch, not sure what that was all about. We'll have to keep an eye on that. He was clear. He won easy over that field. The horse we kind of liked in there, Roman Centurion, ended up finishing 4th. But he did finish with some interest. I think as they stretch out, I think it's going to help him distance-wise, pace-wise. Way too much to overcome, and especially with a horse like Life is Good who had that much left in the tank. That definitely wasn't going to happen. Speaking of Life is Good, if you're out there in the futures pool and you've got Life is Good from the last round, 2-1. 2-1. I guess we'll
I think it started off. I think my buddy sent me a text that he got it at 6-1, but then I think it dropped pretty good after that San Felipe romp.
Yeah. So the good news is you ended up getting that 2-1, so you're locked in there. If you think he's going to be 3-5, like tis the law in the Kentucky Derby last year, I guess that was a smart move. But we'll see going down the line. The other horses that finished up at pretty low odds were Essential Quality by Tappet and the other Tappet, Greatest Honor. Essential Quality finished up at 5-1 and Greatest Honor finished up at 6-1. So as of right now, the Derby picture, it looks like people are pretty locked in on these three horses. I think it's going to be a little bit more wide open than just these three horses, and we're going to find that out when they start to stretch out. But to see a horse go off at 2-1 in March in a futures pool, I mean, he's got some serious support. There's a lot of backers out there. A lot of you guys put your money on Life is Good. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, Johnny, I know 2-1 is pretty short this or late in the pool, especially with all the big races coming. As you said, all the major derbies, 100-point races still to come. And I think, we could maybe find one of the Derby winners out of one of those races. And all right, Johnny, well, let's take a look at the Rebel here. Big race here. A lot of big winners came out of this race in the past. We got a nice little field. Let's take a look at it, starting with the one horse, Caddo River. Let's run through it. Tell me what you think, and we'll keep going through it.
All right, yeah, so we've got a field of 8 that are looking to head into the gate here. The horse on the rail, like you said, is Caddo River. Caddo River, trained by Brad Cox, has had 2 really, really good races back-to-back here, going a mile. One race he won by 9.5 lengths to break his maiden, and then he came back and won the Smarty Jones by over 10 lengths. Caddo River is by Hard Spun. He's out of a Congrats mare, Pangburn, and Pangburn's mare is black type, just like Pangburn, and she dropped 3 black type progeny, which tells me that there's some talent on the bottom side, and with the Hard Spun on top side, I think the horse is probably going to like the rain and the wet track, although he hasn't ran in it yet. It looks like this weekend he might get an opportunity to show what he's got.
Yeah, Johnny, Caddo River, Brad Cox, Giroux. I hear that combo. Brad Cox, 29% winning right now. Unbelievable. And when a horse shows up on the track that it's running in, wins by 10 plus, like you said, the last 2 races, fired right off the bench here in January at Oaklawn Park. So interested to see how it comes back. But let's move on to the 2 horse, Big Lake. Talk to me your thoughts on Big Lake, trained by Steve Asmussen.
Yeah, so Big Lake is coming off back-to-back wins himself. His daddy, American Pharoah, pretty much showed everybody how it's done here in the Rebel a few years ago. He's out of a student council mare. For me, his breeding says possibly wants the 2 turns, but at the same time, I don't know how far he wants to go. Now, he's won twice at a mile and a 16th at the fairgrounds against definitely less formidable opponents. But he's held his own, and he's fought to the wire both times. He won by half a length and a neck. I don't know. He's the bottom line goes through the King Mambo line, which is a Mr. Prospector line, and usually for me, I'm looking at that thinking that's more of a speed line, and we need some stamina on top, which we're not going to get with the American Pharoah line. I think for me, that's more of a speed line on top. But the fact that the King Mambo line is a turf pedigree type line, maybe he might offer more stamina than most of the Mr. Prospector lines. And so he might have a little something to say in the finish at the end of this race. I guess we're going to find out if he's got enough stamina there to hang on with this type going 2 turns.
Yeah, I mean, non-winners and one last time winning by a half length concerns me a little bit. But Steve Asmussen, Santana's got his main man aboard there. Who knows, Johnny? American Pharoah, like you said, Papa did it here. Why not? Let's move on to number 3, Hozier. Talk to me here about this Bob Baffert entry here. Goes back to an old school connection with his main man, Martin Garcia. Your thoughts here on Hozier, the 3 horse at 12-1.
Yeah, so Hozier's dad, Pioneer of the Nile, is actually the papa of American Pharoah. So there's a lot of connections here to American Pharoah in the Rebel. Hozier is out of Merry Meadow, who's by Henny Hughes. Henny Hughes is the Stormcat line. Ironically enough, American Pharoah, being by Pioneer of the Nile, was outcrossed to a broodmare of the Stormcat line himself. I believe that horse was by Yankees Gentleman. So looking at that, he's got the exact same outcrossing that American Pharoah had. His last race was a pretty nice race. Obviously, you can see the difference between going a mile and 16th and 6 furlongs for him. He won that race pretty easy. And he's a February foal, so he's a little bit older. I think he's had more time to develop. It should help him out here. It definitely wouldn't shock me if he put in a really big performance. He's got some pretty nice works out of his way. And even though Rosario chooses to ride Concert Tour, I wouldn't just throw Hozier completely out of the mix here. He's probably going to be closer towards the pace, and he might coming down the stretch be in a position to where if he kicks it into high gear, he could have a chance to get there.
Yeah, Johnny, Bob Baffert, and Martin Garcia, old school connection. I'm looking at that last workout, a bullet at Santa Anita, best of 58 on the track here. So this horse seems ready to go, and you're going to get 12-1 on a Bob Baffert horse. You might not get that, but right now that's what we're at, so I like it. Let's get to number 4. Get her number, 8-1. Peter Miller, another West Coast trainer, shipping out here. Javier Castellano aboard. Owners Gary Barber. Strong connections there, Johnny. Tell me what you think about the 4-horse here. Get her number.
Yeah, so Get Her Number is a very versatile horse. He broke his maiden in a turf sprint, and then he ran a mile stakes race on the turf, and he ran a really, really respectable 4th that day in a big field. And then he came back to win the Grade 1 American Pharoah. Get Her Number is by Dialed In, who's by Mineshaft. On the top side of the pedigree, that goes back to the AP Indy line. For me, I think this horse is going to like the mud. So if it rains, I think that could help this horse out. And on the bottom side, he's out of Fancier, who's by Bernstein. That's the Stormcat line. So he's got a pretty good amount of stamina on the bottom. I think it shows why he's so versatile on turf or dirt. For me, this horse could probably run on synthetic. Coming out of this race, I don't know what their plans are, but the Jeff Ruby Stakes for 100 points would be a race that I think this horse might be able to go out to Kentucky and take hold of. On this track in Arkansas, actually, the dirt plays more towards this type of breeding as well. The layoffs in September does kind of scare me a little bit. Most of these other horses have been running, so he's got some catch up to do, but he's a big, classy horse. I think he's got a chance. I'm not sure. He's been on the lead most of his races, but I'm not sure he's going to want to keep up with these ones around the first couple turns. My guess is he's going to sit back and try to make a run at him and see how much he's developed since he was a 2-year-old.
Yeah, Peter Miller, a solid trainer out here on the West Coast. Thinks he could get it done, shipping out for it. So that's number 4, Get Her Number. Let's move on to number 5, Twilight Blue, 15-1. Joe Sharp is the trainer here. You got Hernandez Jr. aboard here. Your thoughts on the number 5, Twilight Blue, Johnny?
So Twilight Blue is by Air Force Blue, and he's out of Lily the Pink by Rahi. Rahi, I think of turf breeding. Air Force Blue by Warfront, I kind of think the same thing. This horse last time out did win a race in the slop, which with that kind of breeding, that's what I would expect to win on the dirt would be in the slop. One race in a fast track at Churchill, going 6 furlongs to break his maiden. I'm not too sure what kind of competition there was there. He's probably going to have to step it up a few lengths if he wants to compete with these horses.
Yeah, I agree, Johnny. You know, taking a couple times to win an allowance, non-winners of 1. Did win on a muddy track. I don't know if that will play any fact last time out at Oaklawn. So does have a win on the track here. But let's move on to number 6. The 4-1 choice here. That's Keep Me in Mind. Diodoro is going to be the trainer here, and Cohen is going to be aboard. It's been off since the fall here, but won a Grade 2 last time, Johnny. Off the pace. Your thoughts on the 6, Keep Me in Mind?
Yeah, so Keep Me in Mind has been on a lot of people's minds lately. People have been wondering what's going to happen with this horse. He's just had some interruptions in training due to the snow and trying to get the Southwest to go and what have you. The horse is by Lobon, who's by Uncle Mo, and he's out of Victory Gallop Mare. He's got really nice breeding. He's ran some really nice races. He was 3rd in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and then he came back off of that effort to win the Kentucky Jockey Gold Cup. But again, he hasn't raced since November, and he's been having some trouble getting on the track to work out due to weather restraints. I'm not sure how that's going to play for him for this race. This might be a tightener for him. They might be shooting for bigger, better things like the Arkansas Derby. But we'll see. You know, if this horse comes out and he does win, that's going to be ultra impressive to me, and it'll really show the kind of heart and determination that this horse has.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Keep Me in Mind is going to be an interesting one to see how it comes off the bench there, Johnny. Like you said, Diodoro, pretty hot, trainer right now, so one to pay attention. The connections there is 24% jockey trainer at Oaklawn, so pretty nice, Johnny. Let's move on to number 7. I know you'll like this one. We've had it in the Future Pool Talk before as our top choice, and we're going to be talking about number 7, Concert Tour, trained by Bob Baffert and Joel Rosario Rides. Tell me your thoughts here. Gary and Mary West are the owners. A lot of solid things about this horse. Your thoughts and the chances here to win the race.
Yeah, so Concert Tour is a horse that we've been hyping up on our futures polls. He's been closing in around 17, 18 to 1. He's by Street Sense, who was a Kentucky Derby winner. Street Sense is by Street Cry. He's out of Purse Strings by Tap It. So it's a pretty nice outcross for me. This race is ultra important for Concert Tour. We really need to see what he can do going 2 turns. The one question mark that I've had with this horse all along is his fem line. They're all blue type. They haven't really been producing anything. Is he just a freak of nature? Is he an outlier for the fem line, or did he get the genes from his daddy, and did he get the genes from that Tap It line that are going to get him that 1.25 miles? He's been working really well. His last work I watched, he broke about 10 lengths behind the competition and caught him and passed him pretty well. When they hit the turn, he kept his 3 or 4 length distance on him that he had in front after he passed him on the home stretch. His last couple races were sprints. His last sprint, he had to dig pretty deep to beat Freedom Fighter, but he got the job done. And for me right here, I think we're gonna find out. He's gonna answer a lot of questions. Either he wants 2 turns or he doesn't. If he wins this race handily, I don't think the stretch out to 1.1 miles or 1.25 miles is going to really matter. If not, they might go a different route. But I expect him to show up. I don't think Baffert's going to ship him out there for, to play games. I think he's a serious contender, and we're about to find out what he's made of.
Yeah, 2 for 2, big jumps in the buyer numbers there. And also, you know what, Johnny, you got to be looking at this one, Bob Baffert, winning this race 7 times from 2010 to 2020, including the great Triple Crown winner American Pharoah, as you mentioned earlier. But Concert Tour is going to be the real deal, and we'll find out how he shows up in the Rebel. Let's go on to number 8, Super Stock, Johnny, at 6 to 1. Steve Asmussen, and it's going to be the 8 horse. Your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, so Super Stock, he's going to be an interesting contender. Asmussen already having a horse in here with Big Lake, and he put Santana on that one. He's putting Talamo on this horse. Santana's kind of his go-to guy, and Santana rode him last time. I look at it and I'm thinking maybe they're just going to try to send this horse and get him out there with the speed and try to set it up a little bit for Big Lake to come rumbling home. By Dialed In out of a closing argument mare, I don't know. I mean, the horse is probably going to like the slop, so I think for Asmussen, if I'm him and those connections, I'm hoping that it rains. I have Talamo send this horse from the gate and just see how far he can go. I don't know if he's going to be able to make up the ground that he lost on Keep Me in Mind in the Breeders' Futurity. But we're going to find out. Coming off the layoff since October, I'm sure the horse has matured a little bit. And they've got pretty nice works into him. We're going to see how much speed he has, I think.
Yeah, I love the angle that you talked about when a trainer has 2 horses, and he's got to have a little bit of strategy there. Steve Asmussen possibly maybe sending the 8 here, setting up for the other one, his other horse there, which is the 2 Big Lake. All right, let's move on to your final thoughts here on the Rebel from Oaklawn. This is a Grade 2. It's been going since 1961. Some big winners came out of this race, Johnny. A couple, Lawyer Ron, Will Take Charge, Curlin, looking at Lucky, and American Pharoah are just a few of the recent winners out of this race. Some older ones, Pine Bluff, Victory Gallop, and the great Smarty Jones.
Yeah.
So we could possibly see the Kentucky Derby winner out of this race, maybe, would you say? Or
for me, when I look at these 8 horses, I see plenty of talent here. There's definitely, they don't lack in talent at all. I think that some horses might have a higher ceiling as far as I see in the breeding. You just don't know if the breeding is going to match the horse. So sometimes you have a horse, for example, California Chrome. He won those Grade 1 races. He was by Lucky Pulpit. And his siblings like Fort Henry, who was by Tappet, same broodmare. It's a half sibling to him. He ran at a $10,000 claimer recently. So you just don't know if the breeding is going to match what the horse can do. And I think a race like this is really going to shuffle out the cream of the crop or separate the oil from the water, if you will, and really show who lines up with their breeding and who doesn't. If Concert Tour wins this race, I think people are going to take him really serious as a contender for the Kentucky Derby, and he'll move forward as probably the favorite into the Arkansas Derby. Caddo River, if he runs and wins by another 10 lengths like he did last time, I think that his ceiling is pretty high as well. Although I don't know if I see hard spun horses wanting the 1.25 miles. He's shown a really nice stride. So for me, even though it's a 1.16 miles, it's kind of a catch weight. If he wins and it's a big performance, that's going to be impressive. And I think Hozier is the other one that has the breeding that might come out. I don't know if he's going to be able to beat the other Baffert or Caddo River, but those are probably the top three that I would look at going forward. They would probably want the 1.25 miles the most.
Yeah, there we go. With Johnny breaking it down. So Hozier number 3, Caddo River number 2, number 1 Concert Tour. Is that correct?
Yeah, and with that being said, these odds on the favorites are really low. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to play the race yet, or if I'm going to play it, or just watch. Being intertwined with Concert Tour in the futures, already have some money on him to win the Derby.
Yeah.
I might wait till the next round to see if I put some more scratch on him. But for me, this is a big race moving forward. This is another one that might show up another horse that's in the top tier with the Life is Good, Greatest Honor, and Essential Quality.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Johnny. And thanks for joining us on the Hip Horse. Please hit that like, subscribe, ring that bell. Derby Talk, episode number 8. You've made it. We're following the Derby trail. Johnny Lowe is just pedigree knowledge here for you. And we're going to continue to follow the trail. We got a big race next weekend. We'll be talking about the Louisiana Derby. So stay tuned for that, friends. And please, write down in the comments. Let us know who you like. We love to see all those comments down there. We'd like to know what you like and your thoughts on the race. Anything else, Johnny?
No, just keep following us. We're going to keep making these videos. We're going to stick along the Derby trail. Rain, shine, sleet, or snow. We're going to see how they're running. And hopefully we're right a couple times along the way. And you guys can cash in. And like Tommy said, let us know what you think. And we'll try to respond and get back to you if we have an opinion about it. And thanks for watching, and thank you guys for continuing to follow along.
Yeah, we appreciate the support here on the Hip Horse. Once again, good luck out there, and have a great day.